yes, or it is met with, well, could you just send me some information? And that's when I'll say, sure, would you like me to bring that to you with any other things that you would like to see, or would you like me to email you? Most of the time, I'm asked to email them, and that's someone who is not decisive, but they want more information, and you're going to have to court them. So they don't go on your hot list. They go on legal form, interested, not sure. Other people will circle yes right off the bat. I'm interested, and that was Tamara, our last hostess, and she said, well, yes, it had been her second or third party, and she had decided at the first one she was interested. At the second one, she was very interested, and at the last one, she was in. With a booking, if they say no, I'm not interested in the business, you want to go right down to the next one, and that is the booking. Are you thinking about having a party? Even if they circle no, are you thinking about having a party sometime in the future? And is this no for now, or is this no forever, or no for just right now? And they'll tell you, well, some people will say, I'm not a party person. I go to parties all the time, but I don't give them. And I understand that. But I always ask them, could you tell me who the party people are? And if you do, I'll give you a beautiful gift. I will give them a $3 caramel gift, or one of the smaller boxes, the almonds, for referring a hostess. And if they come back with, no, this is just not a good time right now, the next thing I will ask them is, can you tell me about a time? Most of the time, they'll tell you about 6 weeks later. So if it's June, they'll say, well, really August would be better. So I will start with the very first week of August and say, did this work? I don't want to go beyond 6 weeks because I want to make sure that we have our party in place to give our hostess the credit. And if you have to move it, I want to still have room to do that. And usually they will book something within the area that I'm suggesting. If they say no, I'm not interested in the party, then that's fine. But at least I've taken that no and I said, would you consider having one in the future? I don't usually take no as a flat no unless they tell me, no, I don't ever want to do this. Don't be afraid to ask questions, especially when you say maybe. That's so common for people to put maybe. All maybe means to you and I is, I might be persuaded to do this, or I might be persuaded to have a these things, but you're going to have to work a little bit at it. And I take that challenge very happily because I know that if I earn their trust and they've had a good time, I can usually get a yes out of that. So don't be afraid of the maybes, and look at them as a yes, but you just have to kind of dig a little bit. If they say maybe to a party, the other thing that I will say to them is, how can I turn this maybe into a yes? And they will tell you, I'm afraid to have a party because I have a very small space. You have to overcome objections to it. I'm afraid to have a party because I'm remodeling and things aren't the way I want them to be. We did a beautiful party and recruited a fabulous team of ladies in a home that was completely blocked off for remodeling. And we had a great time. So we took the area that was livable and we did the party there, and everybody was great with it. Sometimes the hostess just needs to know that her situation is perfectly okay with you, and that you will work with her through that. Any questions, Ken? Did I miss anything?
That was fantastic, Lynn. I love that you treat everything you do as a party as your job. You do it systematically, every single party. And I think that's the difference in many of us, because, some people choose to do the full service checkout, sometimes and not others. And what I see from you and Amber in our conversations is that you have a system that you do every single party and you get results. And, it's not rocket science, like you said at the beginning. It's not at all. And you two are very special people, but anybody can do what you do. And I mean that in the, kindest way. And I love that about it. This business is easy, fairly easy. You do the same exact things at every single party and you're going to see results. And what you do is what everyone needs to be doing. So that being said, thank you so much for taking the time and sharing your secrets with all of us. And I want to open up the call because there are a few people on this call who have struggled getting bookings from bookings or booking parties in general. And I'm hoping that what you have said will help. And maybe they need some clarification or have some questions. So I'm going to open up to everyone on the call. Does anyone have any questions for Lynn? Or maybe you have a specific objection that you've had at parties that you'd like, her and I to try to help you overcome. Does anybody? Can you guys raise your hand if you felt like today was helpful, if you were struggling with bookings? Linda, did you see Linda's comment? Are there guidelines for reviewing? Linda, everything that Lynn talked about tonight is in your party cards, the scripts that you received. I can't think of anything you're doing, Lynn, that's not in the party cards. Can you? The deck of card games, is that in there?
I don't think so. I think that we have posted it and we had gotten it from, I believe, the Dove site, if I'm not mistaken.
The Dove site?
We had gotten it from a previous chocolatier, but if it's too complicated, because for some people, they can't seem to keep the suits straight. If it's too complicated, you can use raffle tickets and a timer. And they've got 5 minutes, and whoever has the most raffle tickets at the end gets a prize.
Yeah. And that is in your party cards.
Yes.
Ask me about my job in general.
Yeah. I think people are hesitant if they don't believe they've either done enough to be impressive or that they might not know an answer and feel embarrassed. And what I would say to that is, if you're brand new and you haven't gotten your first paycheck yet, talk about your upline who has. Talk about your manager, talk about your director. And, I wouldn't be offended at all. People ask me right at the party, how much do you make? And I said, well, this is what my 1099 told me that I made last year. And my son-in-law said, wow, that's pretty close to what I make as a full-time salary. So, that was, I never thought of it that way, but that was pretty good.
Yeah, that is pretty good, Lynn.
Yeah, it was just part-time, but don't feel like you have to measure up to anything. Talking about what you can do and what you can make in the goal.
If you don't know the answer to a question, don't be afraid or ashamed of that. There's a lot of answers that people in the business who've been in it for 5 years still don't know the answers to. Acknowledge them, let them know that, it was a good question, and, just say, what, that's a great question. I don't know the answer to that, but if you remind me later, I'll be sure to find out for you.
Yeah.
So that they feel validated and that you're helping them learn more in the business.
Sure. When Amber and I first started, people would ask us, well, what teaches you to be a manager? I say, I have no clue. I just earned a trip to Costa Rica, so I'm happy. And if I make manager, woohoo! But I don't know how to, tell you to do it, but I can find out if you want.
I think when you're doing the question game too, I think a lot of people are not asking you how much do you make. They're thinking, how much can I make?
Yes.
How much can I make? So keeping it more general too helps. Like if you can say the average chocolatier makes between $100 and $125 every time they leave their house for a couple of hours. I would keep it very general like that too. Because they're really wanting to know, can I do this? How much money could I make if I did it? And how much time am I going to have to put into it if I did it?
Yeah.
So remember that too.
We like to do what we call $400 Saturdays. We do 2 parties. You can do 3 if you want. They're always $500, so it's $1,000, and 40% would be $400. So you can also talk in numbers of, you want to party 1 day a week, double your party if you want. Make all your money just in 1 day. It's always what you want to do.
Can you guys hear that storm? It's crazy over here. The storm is coming through now. Okay, if there are no questions, I want to ask if anyone is going to put one thing into their party tasting repertoire from what Lynn shared tonight. What would that be? What are you going to add that you heard tonight? Yes?
Hold on 1 second. Linda asked a question and Jackie had her hand up. Linda asked, how many products should be sampled? That's a really good question. I think you need to do a minimum of 6, which is what the chocolate cards recommend. Amber and I do about 8, and that's because we have a fondue at the end. Don't give away too many samples because you will lower your sales. I heard somebody saying that they were told to sample 12 items, and I will tell you that if you do that, you won't have any sales because they'll be sick to their stomach.
Yep.
And they won't buy.
Or they'll have a sore throat. Yeah.
Yeah.
Too much
6
sugar.
or 7 items is plenty. It really is. Jackie, your question?
I just wanted to point out that there was a question.
Oh, okay, thank you. Okay, Ken. You're muted.
Sorry, it's so loud here. I don't want the rain to cloud the recording. Does anybody else have a question or a comment?
I have a comment. I want to thank Lynn because I tried some of these procedures that she had given to me when she met me on a Saturday, and they really work. And the party that I had just given raised $350 compared to when I first was pushing to get $200 out of it.
Thank you for sharing. Susan, do you have something to share?
I just wanted to say thanks. It's it's really good to hear what you do in the order that you do it. For me, it's going to be about polishing some of the things that you say. I like the way you do that, and I'm going to go back to doing the samples in the order of the catalog because that's the way I used to do it, with basically a tour of the catalog, a taste tour of the catalog.
I like
So
that.
thank you.
A taste tour, a tasting tour. That's cute. I like it. I like it. Anybody else? I think Linda reminded everybody not to forget the drawing flips.
Those are so important.
Yeah. I think this is going to be so helpful. We'll keep the recorded. I'll send it out to the PWP group and you can share it with your team members. I think it's very helpful for them to listen and hear from Lynn. Also, if you go into the back office, there's a section that says everything starts here. And there's some great videos. And what I found so shocking is that there's only like 200 views on all of them. And we have way more chocolatiers than that. And everybody who is coming into our business should be watching these videos. It's Molly, and it's Lori, and it's Michelle, and they show you how to stack a hostess, and they show you how to greet people, and they show you how to do the full service checkout. So they're really priceless tools. So when you get a chance, if you haven't seen them, go back there and look at those as well. And we'll keep this as a tool too, Lynn. Thank you so much. On behalf of everyone, we really appreciate your expertise and continue booking.
Thanks, Kim. Thank you for listening.
All right. And with that, we are going to end tonight's call. Next week, we will start back on our, do you have something to say, Kristen?
Oh, no.
Okay.
Nope.
We're going to start back on our PWP program. I think we're on lesson 4 now next week. I think this was a very beneficial break from the program, especially being last day of the month. And you guys finish off tonight strong. Have a great night, and we'll see you next week again. Don't forget Fridays. Send your weekly updates to your leaders and to me. That's it. Have a great night, everybody.
Good night.